See, it's so complicated because a team like the Panthers, David Tepper didn't care about the civil lawsuits. That was why right before the trade deadline, it was down to the Panthers and the Dolphins. Stephen Ross insisted on the 22 civil lawsuits being settled.
Right.
David Tepper didn't care. And Deshaun Watson ultimately said, I still want to go to Miami. Basically, let's try to get these cases settled. And they got 18 of the 22 ready, and the other 4 didn't, and it fell apart because Stephen Ross wanted those cases settled. Well, it may be that Deshaun Watson's got to adjust his expectations to a team in a market where, and I'm not saying in Charlotte they'll just ignore it, but the smaller the market,
yes,
the easier it's going to be to not have to constantly deal with it and constantly deal with it and constantly deal with it. And also the more starved that the franchise and its fan base is for a great quarterback, the easier that you get people on board with, hey, Deshaun Watson denies the allegations. He's going to handle the civil allegations, and we're just going to go forward. You get buy-in more likely, where the fan base is willing to kind of look the other way and not get caught up in the negative press.
Right. I agreed. I think that's definitely a real aspect. But, the thing there is just, I think what you started off with, is Deshaun Watson, how limited are the options of where he looks at to where he'll actually go? And we heard that a lot last year. It seemed like there wasn't many places that really were on his radar that he significantly wanted to be a part of that organization. I know from people all over the league that he definitely wanted to go to Miami. There was definitely people in Miami that wanted him. That was the spot for sure. I think we heard some rumblings from at least people I trust that maybe Philadelphia was on his radar a little bit early on last year too, to one he might have considered.
Yes.
But I never got the sense that Carolina or any of the other teams we heard were a real player in the situation. And that's where, personally for him, he's got to kind of figure out too, what is it all worth and weigh the scales here as far as publicity, maybe not being at the place I want, but I'm going to get to play. All of those things got to come into play. And I don't know where his mind's at in that situation.
And every once in a while, the past week or so, there's been a flash of an idea that he would land with the Giants. Folks, let's just think about that.
I
one
don't
for a
think
second.
So. Come on.
Let's just think about.
Right.
We don't have to articulate any of it. Let's think about what some of the back pages would look like on the tabloids. Let's just let your mind wander about what some of the headlines on the back pages of the Post and the Daily News would be if Deshaun Watson was traded to the New York Giants. And the coverage of him and the debate regarding his behavior became withering.
Yes.
Remember how he was walking off the practice field at one point last year and he kind of blew a gasket and dropped an S-bomb?
Stop filming
just
me.
Because they were,
I'm not
just because
practicing.
they were filming him?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wait until you come to New York.
Yeah,
Wait until they deal with that circus. Now, to the extent John Mara's looking for cover, maybe that's the right way to go. But that would be the worst place for him to go, Chris.
Agreed. And I don't think the Maras at this point could deal with that either. As much as it might excite the football fan from the standpoint of what he can do on the field, I still think you got way too many old school, traditional Giants fans who are just not going to get behind, Deshaun Watson because of the allegations and the things he's dealing with, guilty or not. There's just going to be some people that's not going to be cool up here in this area. I just don't see that either. I don't see the Maras doing that as well at the quarterback position for that organization. That's usually, they want a Boy Scout there in that position. And you add in the fact that, they kind of mishandled, who was it? The punter was
Josh Brown.
Exactly.
A kicker.
Right,
and
the kicker.
It was the kicker.
So
it was the kicker, and it was a disaster.
Story. Right, exactly. So to your point, imagine Deshaun Watson up here in the Daily News and the New York Post every day with these unbelievably creative headlines and all that. You're exactly right. It would become a national story once again. It would take over the league, and it would, I think negatively shine a light on the Giants and the Mara family. I don't think it would be one where you could hide for cover. I think it would just open Pandora's box to be like, let's take more shots at John Mara and the issues there. So I don't see that happening. I'm with you there all the way.
Box full of Pandora.
She's in there. You don't want to open that thing. She'll come out and she's looking to whoop some butt.
Hey, at least we've learned over the past few years the proper gender of Pandora. Because I think at one point you said he's in there.
Yeah,
I think you did say that at one point.
I think you're right. You're right.
Yeah. All right. Look, this isn't going away. And whether it's what the Steelers are going to do, what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, what's going to happen with Russell Wilson, what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers, what's going to happen with Baker Mayfield. This is great for business. I'm not complaining about it. This is real. And this isn't contrived. This isn't clickbait. These are real questions that the offseason at the quarterback position. You know, Chris, for years we had seen it at every other position except quarterback.
Right.
But because there's a willingness now from teams to say we can do better and quarterbacks to say we can do better.
Yeah.
We've got this separate industry of quarterback carousel that as of a couple of years ago wasn't there. It started with Tom Brady, and it's now a permanent fixture of the offseason discussion. The veteran quarterbacks who are going to be on the move or who could be on the move. Even if they don't go on the move, the question of whether they'll go on the move becomes something that just churns that cycle and feeds the beast and keeps the NFL conversation going.
No doubt. It's a new world in the NFL. I mean, again, it's the quarterbacks have become less afraid to go to a new place, maybe take the lumps from, the bad press for the old team or whatever. It's a new age in professional sports. It really is. And you're right. I think teams have, come to the conclusion it's okay to cut the cord on a quarterback who might not be playing well or aging or whatever, a year or two too early to move on to the next one. So it's a different part of our sport right now, and we should see some movement again this offseason with the quarterbacks. That'll make things a lot of fun and get you lots of clicks and just fill your pockets with more cash and cash and cash. That's all we're worried about is Mike Florio's cash.
I didn't realize that you were doing this job for free. I didn't think you made nearly enough money during your playing career to be doing this job for free. It's good to know that you're not getting paid. That's very good to know.
Yeah. No, I'm getting paid. I need to be paid more. I mean, I'm working with you. I think there should be like a tax that goes. You work with Florio, you get a 50% raise, 50% Florio tax.
But you've already seen today one of the fringe benefits that you'll eventually have, the ability to hover over my grave while the infinite loop of Aaron Rodgers plays.
Yes.
And you take a selfie with your selfie stick.
That's right.
At my grave.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.